And I don't think I'm doing a bad job. I think I'm doing a pretty good job for an old dog. Can't keep an old dog down or whatever that saying is. So I got a little started. I'm a little late starting today, but I'm here, and so guess what? I think I'm still into playing with the SY200 by Boss, because after I signed off on yesterday's composing show using the SY200 by Boss, I felt like I hadn't really dug really deep into this unit, and so it's not fair for me to say, well, I'm not going to buy it for this reason or that reason. I kind of still believe there's maybe something on here that is an inspirational sound. So what we've only done, or what I've only done so far, is gone through the settings for two different um, two different patches or memories. And so what I'd like to do is I'm gonna go and something I'm going to show you something that I found out that is kind of really cool, that I wasn't sure how it was going to sound until I actually tried it. So I'm just going to get everything up and running here. So it's really interesting because remember I talked about in the last episode how the song Turbo Lover by Judas Priest contained guitar synths throughout. And when you go see the band live, they don't have guitar synths. They're using a very distorted sound, some kind of distortion pedal, but I don't think they're using guitar synths. But this came out, 4 months ago. So in 2022, I don't know, I'm not sure. They might be pulling this out, like they might go and buy 3 or 4 of these and use them for playing stuff like Turbo Lover and whatever other songs that they decided to have, which had, or the songs that they wrote that had synthesizer guitars on it. So the really cool thing I found is that one of the common settings on this, which I said was like throughout the whole 0 to 28 or whatever presets, was kind of common, and that I only ended up finding 8 unique tones. Well, those common sounds that I did find, I think on guitar, as a guitar synth, keep in mind guitars have one of these, or some guitars have one of these on it, which is a tremolo arm or a whammy bar. I had this G&L hot righted so I could switch to a Kaler because I really didn't like the G&L whammy bar. You couldn't dive bomb with it. And so I put locking tuners because I didn't like the locking nut. And anyways, what I found was some tones on this unit that sounded like the Turbo Lover guitar stuff. And what's really unique about it is when you listen to that recording, you think, oh, that sounds different. That sounds like a guitar synth. No, it's not a guitar synth. It's like 8 different guitar synths on one song. So they have the intro that comes in, and they have rhythms that are occurring throughout the song. And what I found was that at the very start of the song, there's a guitar that comes in, and it sounds like one of these swell things that is in the box. Yet the swell, I don't think it's a swell. I think the song actually starts out with a...
Harry, seriously, pause it!
Sure, what?
Is it off?
Yeah. How do you shut it off?
Turn it off. Start over.
I'll be back. What?
You didn't see me drive by on the road? Why would you start that shit off when you know I'm coming right back? Didn't Willie tell you I was coming right back? Why did you ask him?
What's the problem?
What do I have left to do?
I started on the north side and
North side. What are you talking about? North is that way.
I started on the north side of the route. So the south side is done. In the north neighborhood, I started and did one cul-de-sac.
You started on the north side.
No, I started on the south side. Did all of Valley View.
Okay, well, I don't know why you wouldn't just wait to start that until you tell me what I have left to do.
I had no idea where you're going and neither.
Well, you could have asked William.
I asked
Did you ask him?
Said you were going to pick up recycling.
Told him I was coming right back.
I said go to drop stuff off.
Yeah, and that I was coming right back.
No, I didn't know that you were coming.
Okay, go ahead and do your thing now that I know what to do. But I don't know why you wouldn't just wait for me.
I didn't even know I could do that. Anyways, no panic. No biggie. So anyways, where I left off saying what I was saying a few minutes ago is that the SY200, oh yeah, talking about the sorry, I lost my train of thought. The intro for Turbo Lover. Oh, there goes a pick. Is this. It sounds to me like that. And then they hit the sustain switch, and another one goes. And then the song starts with not that setting, but it goes to a different preset. So I found that one to be kind of similar to the start. And so the setting I'm on is where I left off yesterday and still on the lead setting. And so why don't we just run through each one of these and see how much they change after going through about 20 presets. So we'll go through 20. We won't even touch the variation knob. So we'll leave it set at whatever they're set at, and we'll run through 20 of each one, starting with PAD, and followed by string, bell, organ, bass, sweep, noise, SF, like the other 10 settings. So we'll start with the first, and I'm on 58. It doesn't really matter. We can go from 58 to 78. So let's go to, actually we heard that one yesterday. So this is the pad setting, which is, I'm not sure what a PAD represents as far as a synthesizer goes, because I'm not super familiar with them. But that's the setting on 58. So we'll run up to, from 58, we'll go up to 78 and see what we can find. Not a heck of a lot of difference. From what we found on the two settings of lead and dual. Still not a big difference. It is what it is on the screen. So from what I understand, what it's telling us on the screen is the patch number 062 we're on now, and now this is electric cello. So I think electric cello, when you scroll through all these different settings, is going to be cello-like synthesized. So let's just try it. We'll go all the way around from PAD through all those things just on 062. So this is PAD. This is string. This is bell. Not much there. Organ. This is bass. This is dual, which we've heard before. This is sweep. So we heard that sweep on dual, and we also heard that sweep on lead. So now when you have it on the setting of sweep, I guess it makes it more available to you. I'm not sure. Maybe that's what that knob is all about, is it moves the things. If you've got a sweep sound in mind, but it's kind of weird because this says electric cello right now. That's the setting we're on. I've never heard of well. Oh, I guess it could mean that main note, the low note we're hearing, that low note could be what would be considered a cello. So it's kind of like the root note, if that makes any sense. This is noise, we'll soon find out. Yeah, so that's just plain noise. This is an FX. In the evening. That is SEO or SEQ, which is a sequencer. I know that one. Okay, I'm starting to get it now. So, after 4 episodes, 062 is an electric cello, and when we go to the SEQ, or SEQ, sequencer, the main thing that's going on there is it does sound like a cello. You know, basically, what's it called? What's bowing the strings real fast. So if I slow that down, let's see what it sounds like. Not really. Doesn't sound cello-like. But you can kind of hear what is sort of like a cello. So, I imagine if you once you get to know this machine over time, maybe a year, depending on how you spend your time. I'm a full-time musician now, and so I spend a lot of time with this, but I'm not a genius when it comes to sequencers, or synthesizers. But that is kind of neat, so I can play with the tempo of it. Super. Well, that's as fast as it'll go. That's pretty wild sounding. So if you're playing a song and you wanted your guitar to have kind of like a cello through a tremolo setting on like a Fender Deluxe or something like that, using the vibrato setting, there you go. hear every time I pluck the string, it kind of keeps it steady, at a steady volume. So let's go to the next one here. This is arpeggio. What do you think is going to happen when I hit the strings? So we're going to get all those notes, going to do all those different notes. There you go. And since it's set on 062 electric cello, I haven't moved that since we started. I don't know if that's a, what it should say, a cello. So I can only set it down to a tempo of 40. Uh-oh. That's weird. Oh, battery's low again. So we just ate through a bunch of batteries since the last time. I didn't get much out of this. I thought I had actually burnt out the batteries yesterday. And so I'm going to quickly change out the batteries. And there's a trick to using this synthesizer is when you do change out the batteries, or when you do unplug your stuff in order to get in there, you don't just flip it over and pop the batteries out. There's a procedure, and it's very similar to something I learned with other computerized things. This is kind of basically a little tiny computer, and so there's a procedure. It's a procedure, like step by step, how you have to shut it off. So the first thing I do is going to turn the on off button, which doesn't do anything because the batteries are dying. But first thing I have to do is shut off the amplifier. So everything external from this unit you shut off first, and the unit you shut off last to change the batteries. So, and with that, unplug the amplifier. And as you'll see, as I unplug my guitar, I use a wireless, it goes dead. So now it's totally dead. So by plugging this in, that's your on-off switch. You can see it saying something. Low battery. That's weird, because to me it looked like it was backwards, the writing. But maybe for what you're saying, it's not. So it's got I got three little double A's. Something I found really bizarre yesterday as I was reading more through the manual is that they suggest a Boss adapter. And I saw the name of the adapter, and I thought to myself, I've seen the name of that adapter before, and I don't know where. Anyways, I might have mentioned this in the last video. I got lots of batteries here. But in the last video I mentioned that the adapter, I think I mentioned this in the last video, the adapter for this unit, it's a certain model, and I looked up the model online just to see what it looked like and to see where it's available to buy, and it's available anywhere. So if you know your triple or double A's and your triple A's, these batteries are each 1.5 volt. So if you put three of them together in series, the way they have this, meaning that each battery builds up its voltage, you got 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. You add those together and you get 4.5. Here's the freaky thing. The adapter, the AC adapter for this unit is 9 volts. 4.5 with batteries, 9 volts with an adapter. I've never seen that in my whole life before. Usually when you have an adapter, you're basically supplying power that these batteries would supply. But 9? That's like twice the voltage. How that works, I haven't a clue. That's beyond my skill level and education or whatever. So anyways, maybe if you know something a lot more about batteries and electricity, you'll know what the story is, but I don't. So, here we go. we got new batteries in there, and it's up and running. And since I'm holding it up, this is the knob. Well, this is the knob that we're playing with today to see what kind of things we can find that might be inspirational to composing a song. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's going to happen, but I think we have determined that electric cello on all these little settings here, your lead, pad, string, bell, organ, bass, dual, sweep, noise, special effects, sequencer, arpeggio. See, I don't know about arpeggio. What's an arpeggio? It's a bunch of notes. So maybe on that setting, we could go through these settings on the memory, like all the presets, and maybe we'll find that each preset on the arpeggio setting will be arpeggios throughout that whole preset thing. Don't let me forget that. I want to do that. So, just so we know, just so we can find out. So anyways, we're all up and running, and so the procedure again is make sure the pedal's got power, which it is. As soon as you plug your guitar cord into the input, it turns it on. So now I can turn on the amp. Might make a noise. Nope. So anyways, we should be good for 2 hours at least on battery power. So, yeah, here we are on arpeggio. That's really strange. Weird. Basically, I just went from arpeggio. When I just started it up there, you heard there was no arpeggio. I just turned the switch down back to sequencer and went back up to arpeggio. That's a little bit of a weird glitch. So when you change the batteries, whatever you were left on, must have to reset it by moving that knob and going back down or back up. And I should mention, I noticed that with the variation knob, when I was focused on just the one memory setting, or the one memory setting, or a pre-program. What the heck's it called? I keep forgetting the terms. Presets. That the function or the variation knob also did some peculiar things after I changed the battery. So I think the machine remembers what patch it's on, like 062 or preset number 062, but it kind of forgets certain things in other areas with these little knobs. So you might have to turn the knob backwards and forwards, or forwards and backwards, whatever, like doot doot, go back to the setting, just kind of like jiggling it to bring back the sound you're working on, because that was not there when I plugged everything back in and turned it on. It was something else. I have no idea what it was. Sounded like a bit like that. Anyways, we just rolled through everything on that one, from lead all the way around the clock to ending up at arpeggio. So, and that's that's electric cello, or cello if you don't know instruments. Let's find another one, which actually is, this one's bell, but I find bells kind of boring. Still steel rotary organ, layered organ, chorus organ, sweep organ. Let's try, since there's two settings for comp organ, I'm not sure what comp represents. To me it would mean compressor. So we're at the start again with lead, and we'll go around the whole block and see what it does. And we're on setting number 72. That doesn't really sound like an organ to me, but we're on an organ setting, and the little knob is on string. It's kind of like an organy string. Keep in mind, this is a synthesizer. It's not a sampler. Now, if it was a sampler, it'd be a whole different game, because with a sampler, you have actual tones. And I don't even know if they make a guitar sampler like that yet. But, as I mentioned in the previous parts, there is a USB, but it's like a mini USB plug for this, which you can plug into your computer, hook it up to the internet, and bring things from the internet into this little box. So I don't know what they got planned for that, but just knowing that you can upgrade, well, not upgrade, but maybe update or upgrade, I'm not sure. Maybe that's coming, and they just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So there might come a day where you can have this unit, say in 2 years, and the boss says, go to this website and download samples of these different instruments. And if it can do all this stuff that it does right now as a sampling device, wow, that means a lot. That means you'll be able to play your guitar and have any sound you want come out of your amp. Could be your own voice. That would be trippy, man. Think about it. And I've seen that samplers use your own voice or someone's voice. So anyways, let's continue on here. We'll think about that futuristic stuff when they offer it, but I got a feeling they're going to offer it, and probably sooner than later. That's the whole thing. These microprocessors and microcomputers, ever since they got into the music instrument industry, lots of changes happened. Okay, so anyways, that is string. Now we're going to bell. That sounds a little bit like a... Let's give it a little more volume. I don't think it will. So I think a lot of this stuff would also sound quite a bit different through a PA. I'm playing through a little Fender. I don't even know what it's called. It's like a Champ, but smaller. It's a little tiny thing. So this is the sound of it without any effect. So that's what I've got for tone. So I might not be getting the highs that this thing offers. So those are bells. You can actually hear my guitar louder than the thing. Just crank it up just for one demonstration. Strange. So from that we go to organ. Organ with comp organ. So these should be very similar. So if I went through the variations on this, just out of curiosity, it'd be interesting to find out if the variations would all be variations of organ, since we're on an organ setting and we're on an organ preset. I really want to know. So let's find out. Then we'll know. That's an organ. That I can't really hear. Yep. That's a pretty cool organ. Because I can hear a little bottom end there. Like a big organ. Anyhow, moving around. That's still an organ. Still an organ. Organ. Oh, and that's the end of the variations. So, that answers that question. Every single variation, very neat, on an organ preset with the organ setting, each variation on that, they were all organ sounds. So that would mean that whatever is coming up, lit up on the LED screen, if it says organ, each of your variations is going to be an organ, right? So here's bass. I'm just finishing going through the knob, or around the clock with the knob. That's that weird sound. This is still organ. But that's sweep. Noise. That's special effects. Sequencer. Oop. So let's go up one more. This should be arpeggio. All right. So I think whatever we hit on any of the presets with any of the functions is all going to be on sequencer. It'll all be sequencer sounds where you get all those crazy notes going all at the same time, and you can speed them up or slow them down. So, or sorry, arpeggios, and they're all different notes. The sequencer is more of a tremolo thing. That's this one. So that would be an organ going through, an organ going through a sequencer. So if we went through variations on this, I don't even want to know. But because I want to go through 20 more, or we're on 72, I think we started on 68, so let's get a move on here. So we'll start at lead again. This is organ 2. Let's get out of organs. Sweep organ. Filtered bass. We're already on 79. Did we start at 58 or 60? 68, 78, 88, I don't know. We'll keep running through it. Let's go from bass to another instrument. Synth feedback, or see, some of these are like synthesizer words, and I don't know what. Saw plus tri dual. I have no idea what that means. But that's the setting for lead. That's your PAD. There's your strings. It's nice, but bell, organ, bass, that's dual. Okay, so that's saw plus tri equals dual. and the setting is on sweep. So this must be like a pure, I think sweep is definitely a synthesizer effect. It's not an instrument, it's something from a synthesizer, just like the sequencer and special effect and the noise and the arpeggio probably. So the right hand side seems to be instruments, and the left hand side of the dial, like it's almost like two different sides, are instruments on one side and synthesizer effects on the left side. Like I said, this will freak out your friends. That's about it. But can you write a song with this? No. Good luck trying to write a song with that. So let's continue. Noise. Special effects. See, on special effects, there's actually no tone from the guitar string. So I'm going up one fret at a time from the 12th fret to the first fret. So it's definitely just a synthesizer effect. So that in itself isn't going to help write a song. Not one bit. So what I was kind of, like I said in the last video, was what I was kind of wanting is it doesn't provide. There's your, I think everybody can guess what that is. That's your sequencer. Sequencer equals tremolo. An arpeggio, and then we're done. So let's run through. So that was something called saw plus tri dual, and that's 085. So maybe this is something you only use on the dual setting. Let's try that and go through it one more time. Just on dual. And functions. That's just too weird. Okay, we'll start again. So we're gonna move on from the synth stuff from saw and plus tri dual. But yeah, I think all these tri plus noise dual. That's probably so you set that one little knob on dual. But what's kind of nice, I think it's interesting, is that you don't really have to do that. You don't have to follow that guide so that your knob here is set on dual to match what's on the LED, because you can get tones. See, that's FX. I'm not set on dual at all. And here's organ. So you still have that effect. And maybe that's how I got into that, finding out that, yeah, things are duplicated. Maybe that's the way they want you to use this, is wherever it says what the last word dual, you put it on the dual setting. I'm not sure. I have to read the manual. Well, actually, it didn't say that in the manual, not that I could understand, so we're going to go to, that's another dual setting, dual, sweep. So if we go to sweep, maybe when it says sweep on the LED or LED display and you're on the sweep setting, maybe that's when you have the most variations possible. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think it makes that kind of a difference. Maybe. bizarro. Okay, we're gonna get out of the sweeps here. Sans. Seep. I'm sure that was supposed to be saw sweep, but it says saw seep. I think they screwed up on the spelling on that, which to me seems a little pathetic. If you're gonna put something like out there, I don't know. You'd want your software to not have any typos, like in your screen, because I don't think you can change what that says. You might be able to. No, I don't think you can change the wording. You can. I know you can modify the sounds, but I don't know if you can modify the spelling of words. Maybe. I don't know. Have to read the manual. But I want to get out of the seeps and the sweeps and the sheeps. So this is a fuzzy noise, and I'm gonna just go to the noise setting and see what it does. So with fuzzy noise, you can actually get a tone. That's a C. That's a D. It sounds like you're actually, like if you hit something, a piece of metal outside, regardless how big it is, you're going to get a tone. You're going to get a certain note and on a scale, whether it's a garbage can or a garbage bin or a pipe. All that stuff is capable of making notes. Anyways, these are all noises. That's wind, laser beam. See, with lo-fi, it doesn't give any instrument or computer effect. It just says lo-fi, and there's no fi setting on the little incremental knob. Interesting. So, continuing on, this is beep, and it doesn't say any setting, or I guess you can have a whole bunch of variations on beep, but maybe if we go from sweep to beep, from noise sweep, and see what sweep sounds like with beep. We've heard that before. Let's try bell with beep. Yep. I don't know what beep is all about, but you can change the resonance and the depth and the tone of it. I think. That's about it. Lo-fi is kind of neat. Laser beam, wind, choir noise. Now let's go to the noise setting, which is over here on the dial. Now those will match up. Yeah, there's like 4 variations of noise. That's it, on the variant knob. So, choir noise, there's not a lot to it. Wind, laser beam, lo-fi, beep. Wiggle, we all know what that one did. It's kind of a freak show. Going down 2. So that's kind of like a sequencer. It's got a lot of sustain to it. But once again, there is no notes. It's just an effect. And we're set on noise. Well, let's go to organ, see if it has a tone. Well, that is not what I expected. That's incredible sustain, though. That's kind of neat in a way. If you are playing live, that would be a neat effect because it gives you a little more sustain. Plus, if you're going through your amplifier, it might you might get into something really sustainy there without using the sustainer pedal. You can sort of play chords, but yeah, this says going down, and I'm on the organ setting. So each one of the little knob with the instruments and the synth settings seems to have its own sound. So, yeah, strange. I don't know what going down really is. This is going down part 2, and we're set on sequencer. So let's go back to organ. Interesting. It's just kind of giving us a basic organ sound. But I don't hear anything actually going downwards in pitch or volume or anything. I don't know why that would be in here. This is going up. Let's find out. That's your organ. Get it? So if we go to noise, oh, that sounds exactly the same as the other one. Okay, so let's try some more memory stuff. So we're on 107, might as well go through right to the end. Touch filter, sensitive pitch, ring mod, bass. So that's a dual. Let's go to the bass setting. Woo! Simple bass, 8th. This is moving organ, and that tone kind of reminds me of the Who. In the 70s, the band The Who recorded some songs with the sequencers. And the setting I'm on right now is just bass. This patch or preset is called 114. It's called Moving Organ. So if that's a little quicker. So that sounds a little bit like the sequencer for, what's that song called? Won't Get Fooled Again? Yeah, I think that's what the song was. Yeah, you know the song. It was a huge song. So let's move to organ, because we're on bass there. And it goes away. That is so strange. Like that to me seems mixed up, because essentially, in order to find stuff to play with, and you know, if the Who hadn't recorded that song, I would definitely working with that crazy sequencer thing, because if they had never done it, then I would have had a huge hit called "Won't Be Fooled Again" or something to that effect. But moving organ on the organ sound. Doesn't sound to me like it's moving much. Wait a second. We're still on moving organ. I went back to the bass setting and this. What is going on? Oh, that's insane. Okay, so what I just did, when it was just, there was no sequencer going on, I toggled the presets down one increment from 114 down to 113, and then I went back, and this is what happened. It brought it back. So if you move this knob from organ and then go back to bass, the sequencer disappears. To bring it back, I go from 114, the preset, down to 113 or 115, either way, and then bring it back to 114. That I would call a glitch in the software, because if you're on stage live and you don't have that programmed in, and you're doing things like twisting knobs and stuff, you'd be laughed off the stage, because you'd be searching for these tones, and I don't know, that seems like a major flaw in the machine to have that happen. Once you go to a setting and you come back to that setting, if it's not there and you haven't done any changes, that's a big flaw. That's like hitting a fuzz pedal and all of a sudden having a phaser or a flanger sound off. That doesn't make sense. So, discovery here, getting back to what I was saying, what this is all about is composing. That's just frustrating as far as the equipment goes. Not a super big deal, and they're probably going to fix it. But moving from the moving organ to sequence. So if we go to sequencer, or the sequence thing, oh, this is so weird. Okay, so I went to sequence, and you heard what it sounded like. It was making a sequence. I went back to bass, which is where I went from, to go to sequencer. It was on bass, but it's also on sequencer. But if I go back down to bass, it disappears, right? Strange. So there's a few things that have to get worked out. And I'm going to tell the guys at the store this. I'm taking it back because, for starters, I wouldn't buy anything that's flawed. So it's too bad. It needs work, but I know what they're doing here. I know what they're trying to do. Those are minor bugs. So let's move ahead. That's sequence 1, sequence 2, noisy sequence, bass sequence. Okay. This one's called bass sequencer or sequence, or SEQ and rhythm. That's one of these things where you get rid of the drummer playing the snare drum. So I can change the tempo of that. It sounds terrible to me. I don't know. I would not use that for anything. Here we are at arpeggio, and we're on sequencer. Let's go up to arpeggio. And it's still there. Let's go back down to sequencer and see what happens. Yeah, they gotta get that fixed. They gotta get that fixed. So the Who definitely made a lot of money by using a sequencer in a lot of their hit songs. I think Bargain had one, Won't Be Fooled Again, Who Are You? These songs were huge songs in the 70s. And Pete Townsend got heavily into sequencers doing that stuff. I remember asking some guy in a music store, I said, what is that sound the Who's got? And this is going back to the 80s, and he says it's a machine called a sequencer. But you had to be like a scientist to run it. Now, boom, you can get it by pushing a few buttons. So if you're a musician and you're a composer, the world's getting to be kind of like your oyster, because like I said, the microcomputers and microprocessors have gotten into the musical instrument business and made things a lot easier for crazy sounds. And like I said, if this thing, personally, if this thing had more presets that were unique, like, you know, I really like the samplers. I've always liked samplers because you can take any sound in the world and then manipulate that sound based on a digitized sound. You can cut it up and stuff. And a lot of you that are more sophisticated composers that have gotten you don't have a guitar or any musical instruments, and you do everything on a computer, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Is like you can cut things up in Pro Tools or in whatever DAW software you've got. You can cut things out, expand them. Like that's the wildest thing about hip hop music that I really like, is this 808 drum beat has been digitized and put into that, and everybody uses that. That's that real boom bass drum. It's such a big boom. Sounds like a big giant bass drum or bass guitar, but it's not. It's actually a drum sound that's been manipulated and extended. Anyways, I'm off topic. These are all arpeggios at the end. Yeah. Yep. So all the way to the very end we went with this. So what did we learn today? We learned, you know, and this is the fourth time I've actually played with this and spent an hour, about an hour, close to an hour. And the things that I found out last night kind of led us to where we are today. So it's unfortunate that those glitches exist, like going from one setting to another and not hearing a change, but only by switching the another control up or down brings the change in. They've got to fix that. So everything's got to be boom, boom, boom. When you change the channel on your TV set I'm going way back, but it's a good example for the younger generation. If you dial phone number, I don't know. But basically on televisions you had channel 1, channel 2, or channel 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 12 or something. If you change from 2 to 3 and you still have channel 2 and you're supposed to be on 3, that's not cool. So that's kind of what's going on here. You've got the same channel on 2 different settings unless you fine tune something, which is a little labor intensive. So I'll let the guys at the store know that, I guess. And this thing's going back tomorrow. I'm not buying it. And I think I made that decision in the last lesson or before. Unfortunately, because of that, I wasn't able to pull anything inspirational from this little machine. And I really wanted to find something in there that, well, I did find that one thing. And that was something I did on the very first episode, part 1. And I don't need it to compose the song or complete the composition, because I figured it out where it is on the guitar, and it's not that hard to duplicate with fingers. And so, which kind of what was my point to a lot of other musicians and a lot of composers, is that the magic comes from out there into here and then out through here onto here. Being if you're composing using a guitar. For others it can be a piano. For some people it can be their computer. No instruments. So we're going to leave off with that. Next show, tomorrow I have to play at the jam at the Blues on White. We're still doing that. We've been doing that for almost a year now, and things are going really well. And yeah, if you're in the area of Edmonton, stop in there and say hi. And like I said, whatever you think about this, I guess it's a bit of a review, but it's also the composing thing. Please say something about it in the comments, and I'll get back to you. You can subscribe to the channel, because I'm not always sure when I'm able to do this because of other commitments musically. I know I might be going out to another town to do a show, which is a part of a contest kind of thing. So when gigs come up, phone rings, I say yeah. I don't say no to gigs. I don't think I've ever said no to a gig. And I've played some pretty hairy places in my life. So we'll just wait and see what happens. So tomorrow I'm gone. Sunday I'm off. So if nothing else is going on, I'll be coming on at around 2 p.m. in Mountain Time. I shoot for that. Usually I'm a little bit late. Typical musician. Yeah, we'll see you then. I should have some creative funness to work on. I know there's some things that I've been working on besides this, but I haven't gotten them to a point where I can express them on the guitar yet. So they're still up here. I can sit here and repeat them to the camera with my mouth, but that I don't think is very professional or cool. I'd rather let the instrument do the talking. So until next time, take care of yourselves, and we will talk to you soon. And now I have to do some technical stuff and shut this off. See ya.